Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Tuesday Night Hang. Welcome, welcome, welcome. As you see, we're always fashionably late, and I am very out of fashion. I got polka dots and, cross things on my shirt. My hair's a mess, but I'm here. So anyway, I appreciate everybody hanging out and coming by on a Tuesday night. And I say this every week. I sound like a broken record. So I'm going to change my wording this week. I am super ecstatic instead of excited. I am excited too. That's my normal go-to word, but I am ecstatic, super ecstatic. Say that 2 times very quickly. Super ecstatic that I have one of my favorite earthlings, humanoids, people, personalities, and a monster trumpet player who I actually aspire to be is half as good as this guy as a person and as a musician. Eric Miyashiro is going to be joining us. We talked a little earlier, about 5-10 minutes ago, and he's making a hang with us tonight. So hang out for Eric. He'll be here in a second. In the meantime, I have to come up with some other words. I am super fragilistic, content, and happy to always have my left-hand, right-hand man from LaGrange, Illinois, my man, Stephen Wright. What's up, Stephen Wright?
You're content, huh? And static.
I'm content, super fragilistically, and happy, too.
I'm full of static.
What's that, brother?
I said I am full of static as well.
Super who the hell knows with me? I'm so that's the problem. Oh boy, how you doing, man?
Good. On with you?
Yeah. Last time you were, we did a feed last week, so we did our normal Tuesday hang last week, and then you were earning some double time, man. We had a rehearsal Wednesday last week, and you popped in on us. We opened up the feed, and thanks for bringing everybody up to into my world, man. Thank you.
Yeah, man. It was a nice 2-episode hang last week.
Yeah, no kidding.
Good time.
It was fun.
How did the show go? How did the show go?
Oh, the show went good, man. Again, I'm glad we had the rehearsals. We had this new band we put together. We had I guess we were 3 or 4 rehearsals in new band called Sunshine City Brass, which actually dictates the geographic place I'm living in now. It's St. Pete, Tampa, Clearwater. St. Petersburg, they call it Sunshine City. So I put together like a New Orleans kind of second line backbeat band. We're doing covers in the second line kind of feel. We played some of them for you last week. And I wrote a couple of Billy Joel arrangements of tunes. And so I have wonderful Louis Alisei on drums and Elias Tony on bass and piano. Those are my core guys. And man, great. We had some guests. We had Ronnie D playing saxophone and singing. We also had Kyle Schroeder playing alto saxophone. So we had a great turnout. We sold the place out. It was nice because it's the first gig I did since the pandemic started. And what was really nice is the Performing Arts Center was very cognizant of having safe distances. Everything was 6 to 10 feet away. People didn't even notice, but your temperature was checked when you go in the door. There was a temperature check. So it was really hip, man. They do it right. And it was actually a smaller audience, but it was sold out and the band sounded great. And I got to figure out how to play 75 minutes straight set. I haven't done that in a while. So it was interesting, but we had a great time. Thanks.
Cool, man.
Oh yeah. Got some pictures. Yeah.
Yeah. Got a picture there. And I know you probably want to hit it later, but I also have the spot from Charlie's World that you did leading up to the show. I wasn't able to get it last week. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right, buddy. What's really funny was Charlie Belcher. He's a local news anchor here. Thing called Belcher's Charlie's World, and he's a news anchor that does a lot of entertainment and just lifetime stories. And became friendly with him in April when I released, Stephen, you helped me release it and record it, called Down by the Riverside, with a YouTube recording. Very fortunate I had Mike Del Judas, who's one of the singers and guitarists with Billy Joel, with us. He actually sang with us on that video, and we went viral with it. And we, and somehow throughout press and everything, we sent a press release and it got to Charlie and he kind of dug it. And he was just a very genuine guy. And long story short, he grabbed it and we did a nice little spot in April on that. And he said, you know, when you start gigging, when the pandemic ends, be sure that, you know, you let me know because I'd like to help you out and follow up with the band. So he was true to his word. And we did a nice Charlie Belcher interview for Fox 13 News out 7 o'clock in the morning, playing in the humidity of 85 degrees outside of Florida. So it was fun. You said you have that?
Yeah, I have the clip. I mean, it'll reference the show that already happened, but yes, I got it. It's cool though.
Yeah, throw it up there. It will give me time to really think about questions for Eric because I got a lot of questions for Eric.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
here you go.
Hey everybody, I'm Charlie Belcher coming to you from Clearwater today from Ruth Eckerd Hall. The main stage has been quiet here longer than it's ever been quieter in its history because of this pandemic, but music is starting to flow again. On Saturday nights, they've been having some concerts in their cabaret theater in the lobby, the newly renovated lobby of Ruth Eckerd Hall. And this Saturday night, you can hear Carl Fischer's Sunshine City Brass. And Carl Fischer, he has quite a resume. He's been playing for the last 15 years with this guy named Billy Joel. Maybe you've heard of him. He joins us now from a social distance. Carl actually went to high school in St. Petersburg,
High school, yeah.
went back to New York City, met Billy Joel, the rest is music history, but living now again in St. Petersburg.
Yeah, I'm back down in St. Pete and love to travel over the bridge to the Tampa airport, the best airport in the world, I think.
And that way you can fly and go meet Billy Joel and the band wherever they're playing. And
yeah, we meet up. You know, no more bus anymore. It's all about flying to the gig. So hopefully we'll open up soon. We're looking forward to getting together.
So yeah, I mean, Billy's not touring now. Nobody's touring now during the pandemic. So during this, you thought, well, I can't just sit here and do nothing. I want to make some music. So you ended up forming a band during this pandemic.
Yeah, we had a bigger band and everything got shut down from the pandemic. So I figured something small, easy, and fun, kind of New Orleans based, 3-4 guys. We actually had a couple horn players Saturday. They're going to be sax players Ronnie D and Kyle Schroeder going to be guesting with us. But yeah, you know, we got to keep busy and we're looking forward to kind of having a great time and stepping a little bit and having a good time.
So tell me about Sunshine City Brass. Obviously Sunshine City, paying a little tribute to St. Petersburg.
Yes, sir.
And you're a brass player, you trumpet, and trombone, and I mean, if it's got a mouthpiece, you can play it, right?
Yeah, with Billy, my main instrument is trumpet. I play trombone, and I also play tenor and soprano sax with Billy.
Oh, wow.
So you might see some more horns.
Brass.
Yeah, you might see some extra horns, but that's the impetus of the brass thing, because when we originally recorded it, it was a virtual thing, and I recorded all the horns myself, even the tuba. So.
What will people see Saturday night if they come see you here at Ruth Eckerd?
It's going to be the second line thing, but also we're going to have some twists. We're going to have a couple of Billy Joel arrangements that I composed specifically for this concert.
Oh, wow,
so we're going to throw some of that in. We also have some great Bill Withers R&B tunes with a different little flavor. Yeah. So we'll have a good time.
And obviously you've played stadiums and arenas with Billy Joel. Playing an intimate venue like this, satisfying in its own way, just a very different way.
With absolutely, because you can actually see the person in front of you, and there's no hiding, like I said earlier. So it's one-to-one. It's the hang.
Hey, if this takes up, we're going to see Sunshine City Brass play more and more in the area, you think?
I'd love to, and my kudos to Ruth Eckerd Hall for the series, and we hope to do more here.
Nice.
And love it.
All right, folks, if you want to see Carl Fischer's Sunshine City Brass, I highly recommend it. It's where you're going to tap your foot, you're going to smile. How it works is you buy a table. The tables are all socially distanced, so you do have to buy a table, be you and 3 other people. So tickets for 4. Think about that if you're interested. RuthEckerdHall.com. There are a few tables left you can still buy. It's this Saturday night, and I guarantee it. You hear that, Carl? I'm guaranteeing it. That you'll enjoy yourself. If not, just talk to Carl after the show. RuthEckerdHall.com. Charlie Belcher, Fox 13 News.
There you have it.
Fun hot morning, buddy. It was a fun hot morning with Charlie.
How'd the neighbors dig you blowing at 8 o'clock in the morning?
You know, it's funny you say it because there was this condos on the west side of Ruth Eckerd Hall and on the north side. Mm-hmm. And actually the cameraman was a really nice dude, and he actually said one of his friends was living in the north side condo and texted him and said, man, I hear a whole bunch of trumpet and New Orleans music going on. You guys woke me up, but I actually kind of dig it. It was funny. Even the cameraman, who's a great guy, was in on the act. He's like, man, I kind of feel
Awesome.
bad for waking everybody up, but you know what? Could be worse, you know?
Hey, we got a couple people. I know we don't usually get to the chat this early, but a couple people said thank you for broadcasting the rehearsal. As
Oh,
people that
cool.
aren't local or close, it was really cool to get to see and hear.
Awesome. We had to put, we had, you know, again, it was just this whole thing with the hang for whoever's new or, you know, if or I'm new every time I do it, but the whole, you know, mindset of it is to kind of bring all of us together. And, you know, the world is a big place, but with technology, it can be small. And we're going to be talking to our buddy who's in Japan tonight. So, yeah, it's just trying to pay it forward and bring everybody together and bring everybody together in music, which is the common denominator here. Speaking of music and bringing everybody together, enough about me. I got a big head as it is. Look at how big my head is. It's humongous. I'm gonna throw it at you for a second because I
Yeah,
gotta
man.
tell you, man. I've seen you work. We've been together 7 years in a management artist relationship and friends for what 25 years. A long time,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
It's a
Been a
long time.
while.
So what's that? You got
I
gray hair?
say.
You hate me? What'd you say?
Yes, all of that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. No, it's all good. But I got to tell you, man, you know, we finished the project. I'm very, um, I'm blown away with actually, and it's
Yeah, man.
because of your doing. So I'm gonna leave you with talking about that. But we finally finished this. We're going almost. I wouldn't want to say virtually, but XM Sirius radio, the Billy Joel channel on channel 70. They asked us, Billy's management and the channel, to kind of put together the impetus of our hang and put together a show for the channel. So I had some ideas and jotted them down. And Steven, I got to tell you, my hat's off to you, man. If I had a hat again, I would take it off to you. The editing you did, I know you lost track over 600 edits, but you pulled together our guests and made everything seamless. And talk a little about that. How was that for you, man? Was that a pain?
You know what? It was a lot of fun. Got so you know, Carl and I have both mentioned, you know, when the hang first started on Tuesdays, we kind of thought we were gonna do one or two and just see what happened. And Carl, I don't know if you know this, but actually this week starts our 7th month of doing
Wow.
this already.
Well,
So
then 2 more months, I can have my baby, and I feel like I'm
yeah.
going to have it pretty
So
soon. I'm filling out quite nicely.
yeah, but you know the response that you guys have given has been really great, and you know Carl and as he mentioned, even some of the Billy Joel camp has noticed what's been going on, and so yeah, the hang in some form is gonna be headed to Sirius XM as soon as next week.
Next week. Yeah.
So it's not going to be live like this, but it's I'm really looking forward to you guys being able to hear it. A lot of the feedback and a lot of the questions that we've included came right from you guys. So definitely appreciate, you know, everybody chiming in the chat, as I always say. And yeah, man, I'm really excited. It's my first production for the Billy Joel channel. Thank you.
Oh, no, you did a great job. Yeah. And again, we're just bringing everybody together, and you did a great job of doing it. And yeah, man, we're excited. So keep an ear out if you're a serious XM radio lover on channel 70, the Billy Joel channel. Keep an ear out. We don't know what day, but we think it's going to be around a week of the 26th, which is next Monday, correct?
Yep. Yeah, it'll be next week. So
cool. And
yeah, we'll
we
make
think
sure
it's
to
going
put
to be called The Hang.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Yeah. So we're excited about it. And Steven, again,
Yeah.
kudos to you. Thank you. And everybody involved.
Yeah, definitely. I think people are gonna really dig it because what we really tried to do is give you guys the behind the scenes that we do here, you know, and Carl told a bunch of really interesting behind the scenes stories about when he first started with the band, and let's just say there was some eating that was involved, there was some boats that was involved. I don't want to give away too much, but it'll be fun.
No, we're looking forward to it. So that
Yeah, man.
being said, talking about fun, the segue now is this is all about fun. I always learn. I say this every week when we have guests. I always learn. I think I know my friends and guests that come on, but I always learn more about them when I hang out with them. And I was excited when I woke up this morning because, again, Eric Miyashiro, the great trumpet player and arranger and composer and just all around wonderful person, is here. I'm going to talk a little bit about Eric before I bring him out. If you're not familiar with him, usually we talk about every week, we have Billy Joel, we have Maynard Ferguson, we have trumpet forums, we have touring forums. We jump around quite a bit, and that's what keeps me interested. Hopefully it keeps you guys interested. This gentleman is one of my trumpet idols. And he was born and raised in Hawaii, to a very musical family. Eric is, I would say, the most in-demand soloist and clinician in the world right now. He spent his early days in Hawaii and Honolulu studying both classical and pop, jazz, you name it. After he, got out of high school, he decided he was going to move to Berkeley and move to Boston and go to college in Boston at the Berkeley College of Music, wonderful music school. Since he left Berkeley in Boston, he's toured the world, 10 times over. He's the lead trumpet player with the great Buddy Rich drummer, Woody Herman, Stevie Wonder, Tower Power, Thad Jones and Mel Lewis's big band, Count Basie Orchestra. He's played in backup bands for Frank Sinatra, Mel Torme, Natalie Cole, Tony Bennett, Sarah Vaughan, Paul Anka. The list is crazy. Bill Conti, John Williams, the wonderful Freddie Hubbard, who I love, Clark Terry, Dizzy Gillespie, the Stylistics, Anita O'Day. I could go on and on. All you do is have to do a web search on him to see what this guy has done. So I love, especially down here in Florida, a lot of guys are like, well, I have done this, I have done that. But not only has he done it, he's doing other things now that are even top that. Eric now resides in Japan. He's in Tokyo, and he's one of the first call studio session players in town, as well as he's a very active leader with his own bands, the Eric Miyashiro Band and the wonderful Blue Note All-Star Jazz Orchestra. They just finished an engagement last week at the Blue Note in Japan, and what a wonderful band that is. I love that band. And Eric has many records out with his own band, EM bands. Eric Miyashiro bands. His versatility has been showcased on, television shows, radio, film scores, you name it. He's an accomplished composer, arranger, producer. He does it all. He also is really into education, which I love. He's a, professor at Kunitachi College of Music, Showa Music Academy, Osaka University Arts. He's also an international Yamaha band and orchestra instruments performing artist. What a wonderful company. He has a great kinship with them, great people over there at Yamaha. And he actually has a wonderful trumpet. If you're a trumpet player, you owe it to yourself to check his horn out. It's, in my opinion, it's actually one of the best configurations that Yamaha made under the Yamaha name. It's the EM horn, EM, and it has some numbers. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm gray, but Eric and I will talk about that. It's a wonderful trumpet. If you can get your hands on it here in the States, give it a good blow. Actually, it's a wonderful trumpet. I first came to know about Mr. Miyashiro. My roommate on Maynard Ferguson's band was Tom Garling, who's a great trombone player. Tom actually knew Eric very well. They went to school together. They were friends. They were on Buddy Rich's band. Tom Garling turned me on to Eric. He's like, man, you got to hear Eric. So I remember going through the first time in 90, I want to say maybe 94, going through Japan with the Maynard Ferguson band and meeting Eric back in the 90s. And he just blew me away. His personality, his playing was from another planet. He was just humble and, just a guy I wanted to be around. There's another mutual friend we have named Iron Mike Bogart, who is a lead trumpet player at Tower Power. Everybody who knows Eric talks highly of Eric because he's just that type of player and man. So, I always remembered hearing about this great Japan trumpet player from Honolulu originally that had chops, but also he knows when and where to use his chops. And in my opinion, I think Eric has morphed into his own, he has his own sound and he's his own man. He's not just about playing high notes. He has a lot of virtues that a lot of trumpet players would aspire to have. From actually listening way back 2000 to his recording Kick Up. Wonderful recording he had out. I was blown away by his originality. One of the tracks I loved that really got my ear was Coco Pelli. And then currently another track that's called titled Trains. It just came out in April, I believe, on YouTube, called Trains. And that's with this Blue Note Jazz Orchestra. That reaffirms to me that Eric is not just another high note player, but he's a musical force, all to all on his own. He's got his own thing happening, man. So I could go on and on, but ladies and gentlemen, let's say hello to my buddy and great human being and absolutely monster musician, Eric Miyashiro.
Oh my God, Carl. Do you take PayPal?
I do take Venmo, PayPal. Yeah, it's how much you got? A lot of money.
You got it, man. That was an epic intro, man. Oh my God, and you just told in a nutshell my life story. So we're done, man.
Okay, we can go.
Okay, we're finished.
No, man, I'm
But
telling you, it's crazy because I think I know a person. I know, hanging out, and I start researching, and then I look at it, and it just the whole arc of your career and everything you've done, man, it's inspirational. But not only that, man, you're honest. It's honest, and that's what I love about having guys on here, man, because it's people I want to hang out with. So thanks for hanging with us, bro. Welcome.
oh man, thank you for the invitation, man. I've been keeping track on this Carl's Hangs, and it's an honor to be here, really. And thanks, man. And it's good to see you, my buddy.
It's been a while, man. When was the last time we hung out? Was when Maynard passed away?
Probably, I
Oh
think
man,
so.
that's 2006.
Yeah, the
Oh
St.
wow.
Louis hang, right?
Yeah, I guess it was 2006.
Yeah. Oh my God,
You
we're
still look
getting old.
young. Oh, look, Steven's throwing pictures up. There we are. There's Wayne,
There it is. There's a hang.
Seraphine. Yeah,
Yeah, and that must have been like what 3 in the morning. What was
that was
something like
that
that?
after White Castle when we had hamburgers or before?
Well, it looks like it's after, right?
Yeah.
But
I don't know if it was after.
but
We had an epic hang that night, Eric.
oh yeah, oh yeah. But you know what? I've done a whole bunch of Maynard tributes in my life. I'm
Yes, sir.
still doing them.
Yeah.
I'm doing a lot of Bill Chase tributes, and I just did a little bit about Ellington.
Oh
So Cat
wow.
Anderson stuff.
Yeah.
So Carl, man, I'm making a living by doing playing dead trumpet players, dead high note trumpet players, music. It's
Hey man.
but the main thing is like it really touches me, especially because he was, I guess, one of my biggest the early influence.
Okay.
I'm sure it's the same for all of us, but
Yeah.
man, he really um gave me that guiding light, so to speak, to be more than just a trumpet player, but the entertainment, the whole show.
Yes,
When you
sir.
went to see Maynard, it wasn't just a high note; it was the whole, you know,
Oh,
the the vibe that he gave, the way he talked, the way he made his band feel comfortable, and the jokes and the whole package, man. And just you just walked out of the club smiling and happy.
yeah.
And man, I just when I first heard Maynard, man, that was it. I just picked up on that the
Mhm.
joy and the happiness that he gave through his horn and his demeanor. He did just the band leader and the human that he was.
Yeah,
So
man.
yeah, so doing these Maynard tribute is a little bit of it's of course it's a privilege, but also it's kind of makes me sad all the time.
Yeah.
Every time I'm doing them, because you can never do justice, playing Maynard's shred.
No.
That's
Hard.
yeah, you can. Oh yeah, You can maybe do, play the right notes, but you could never get that fire and that joy that he gave through his music. So
Yeah.
I remember, Carl, the very first tribute we did, right after he died, that was St. Louis, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and there was another one after that. Anyway, I remember, I was the first soloist. I think we did Blue Birdland, and we did Give It One, and I was the first soloist, and that was followed by, I think, Wayne followed me. I think, but the all throughout the night, all throughout the night, all the guys went out and did their thing, played
Mhm.
tribute to Maynard. They came back to the backstage, and they were all crying. We're all hugging each other, and we're crying because it was such an
Mhm.
emotional thing.
Yeah.
And those are the things that audience didn't see.
Yeah.
But
The backstage
man,
pass.
oh
Wow.
my God, man, there was happy and sad kind of moment.
Yeah. It was
So
surreal.
anyway,
Yeah, it was surreal. Actually, it was funny because Wayne Bergeron was on here I guess a month ago, and we were talking. And so, yeah, you did Give It One. I remember a lot of guys crying, in and out of the trumpet section I was and what have you. I remember when just before we did Blue Birdland, which was, if guys didn't know guys and girls, if you're not familiar with Maynard Ferguson, he had his opener was like a medium blues thing called Blue Birdland. It was a real nice tune, just right in the pocket and very, very just cool. And I remember before that, the video collage of Maynard shots. And we were all looking for backstage, and we all started crying. We went up and played Blue Birdlands the first time, get on the stage, and Maynard's not walking out. He just died less than a month ago. I remember in my part, I had Maynard's harmon mute part, which he didn't play a lot with the smaller big band. So I kind of looked at it, and I was like, I remember Maynard always yelling at me when I was on his band, and you could probably attest to this too, because you had a lot of great stories in and out hanging with Maynard and playing with him. Maynard always wanted you to have your own sound. Play Eric like Eric. Play Carl like Carl. When I'm dead, you're not gonna, play it like you're gonna play it. So I remember just going out and being very emotional and playing my little part, whatever, and playing a little, blowing a little bit. And there wasn't a dry eye in the trumpet section or trombone section. And then when you came out, when you did Give It One, there's 120%. It's Eric Miyashiro. It's not someone copying Maynard. It's Eric, and that's what separates the men from the boys and the girls from the women. It's the way you approach it. You're giving tribute, your homage, but you're also doing what the music deserves, is bringing your personality into it and bring that joy and happiness of the moment. So I, that's why I'm such a big fan of yours. One of the reasons I'm a fan. You know.
the very first time I met Maynard, when that was back in 1981.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was a member of the McDonald's All American High School Band.
With Tom Garling, was Tom was on it with you?
No, Tom was after me. Chris
Okay.
Bodie and
Okay.
I were
Cool.
in the trumpet section.
Okay.
Anyway, we were at the Carnegie, and we are supposed to, back up, play with Maynard.
Yeah.
But his plane was late. Okay, so he and Nick Lane, his musical director at that time.
Trombone player.
Yep.
Yep.
They're late. So we're doing the sound check rehearsal, and the band leader says, "Hey Eric, why don't you play Maynard's part just for the sound check?" And I was like, "Shit, yeah, okay." And, and back then, and I had an ego, the size of like a Cadillac. So I said, yeah, I'm up in the front with playing Maynard's part, and I was like, man, this is it. This is a shit. Oh,
At
can I
Carnegie
say
Hall.
shit
Yeah,
here?
you could say shit. This is at Carnegie Hall, right? It's at Carnegie Hall.
Right,
Woo.
right. So we did the Maynard the medley, and we finished playing it. And I was doing all that shit, trying to cop Maynard and all the kiss off, the shakes and stuff. I was being an idiot. So anyway, we finished that tune, and there's dead silence, right? And I hear in a very far towards the back of the stage, a little clap, and I looked over, and it's Maynard. And I freaked out, man. I was like, "Oh man, I was so embarrassed. I ran off the stage like a schoolgirl.
Oh man, really?
Oh man, and I was like, "Oh shit, man." So
Yeah.
anyway, we did the concert, and after the concert, Nick said, "Hey, Maynard wants to see you." So I went to his dressing room, and he said, "Hey, you sound wonderful, man. And if when you graduate, why don't you look me up, and see if he well, want to join the band." And it's like, "Yeah, right." And I'm thinking, "Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, I bet he says that's to all the high school kids or the college kids."
Yeah.
So anyway, and one of the things that he said that night said that, "Man, Eric, you sound great, but don't be a plastic Maynard." And I thought, yeah, at that time I didn't know what that meant.
Took you a second to realize, right?
I know, yeah,
It
yeah.
took me a
So
second too. Yeah.
yeah, right. So in a way, he gave me a big clue
Yeah.
at that time. It took me, good
It
10, 20 years to really realize,
hits
you
you though.
know.
It hit when you realize it, you realized it.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So anyway, then I went to Berkeley,
Mhm.
and like I got to see Maynard's band several times when I was in Boston. And I remember one of the gigs, um, I got to see Maynard backstage, and he remembered me.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and he said, "Hey, why didn't you call me?"
Come on.
And it's like, "Holy shit, he really meant it." It's like,
Yeah.
"Oh God." So anyway, the Maynard, I guess, besides my dad, my father was the trumpet player, so
Yeah.
he was a big influence for me to become a musician. But I would say the Maynard would be the second, the
Okay.
most, yeah.
All right. So that actually leads me to my first question. So I love that because you know my dad Charlie. You got to meet him once or twice, and so you know, we have something very in common that our dads were trumpet players. So would you say growing up, was dad your dad? Did you want to be like your dad? Did you want to play trumpet? How did you get involved? Through your family playing music. How did that happen?
Well, dads at home is like, sitting back at the couch, beer in his hand, watching the football game, and
Okay.
pretty much a slob. But when he went on the stage with his horn, he took on this different persona, and he was a
Really?
different guy.
Okay.
And I thought that was, man, that's so cool. And I would watch people leaving the concert smiling and happy. And
Yeah.
I was thinking at that time, I was like 6, 7 years old, right? And I was
Uh-huh.
thinking, hey man, my dad is making people happy by playing his instrument, and then
Wow.
he's having fun, and the audience is having fun, and everybody's happy. Oh my
Cool.
God, that's so cool. I want to do that. So
Wow.
it was, yeah, it was a natural thing. And he didn't
Yeah.
he didn't tell me to pick up, start playing music.
Uh-huh.
And like the horns were just laying around the house like a toy. So it was a toy.
Yeah.
It
Grab.
started off as a toy. Yeah, grab and play along the radio or TV, and
Yeah.
that's how I got started. But
Oh, beautiful.
yeah, he bought me a bunch of records. He took me to a
Wow.
bunch of concerts.
Yeah. There it is.
Being in Hawaii was really wonderful in the 70s,
Okay.
because yeah, a lot of the hotels had house bands,
Okay.
and and the guys like Jerry Hay, Gary Grant,
Wow.
Ollie Mitchell, Chuck Finley. Chuck would
Ooh,
come in here and there.
beautiful. Great.
Yeah, there's some great players around, and I would go and see these shows. Count Basie, I got to see the band. Duke,
Wow.
Tower Power, Earth, Wind and Fire, Chicago,
Yeah.
Woody Herman with Vizzuti.
Oh,
Um,
wow. That one. Yeah. Beautiful.
yeah, so it was all natural. That I became a trumpet player. And
Wow.
he never told me to practice,
You
but
wanted to practice.
I I I, I didn't want to practice. I just wanted to play.
It's funny you say that. So you weren't like a studious guy, like I want to really work on my Arbans or I got to work on this etude. You wanted to play along with radio. And what was your mindset when you were younger, when you jumped?
I I you know I think I started playing when I was fifth grade, I think. And
Okay.
I couldn't read music at that time, and I just like I said, I played along the records and
Yeah.
um TV and whatnot. And comes junior high, and there's a band, right? Band program. So I said, okay, yeah, I'm gonna join the band. So I went, and I told the band director, hey, I have a trumpet. And I said, okay, well, hey kid, let me hear you play. And I played something that I knew, which was Clark's Carnival of Venice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I could only play like bits and pieces of it, and I thought it was a cool solo, so I played it, and he stopped. He stopped me in the mid variation,
Mhm.
and he asked me, "Why are you playing that key?" And I said, "What is a key?" And well, key is one flat is F and two flats and B flat. And I said, I can't read music. I don't know. And he said that, well, listen, this you know solo it should be in concert E flat, your F, but you're playing in F sharp, E
Come
natural.
on, you're playing F
And
sharp.
see, it turns out that my turntable was like fast. It was a little broken, so he was playing in F sharp, and I was
Wow.
playing in that. It was like
In F sharp.
in F sharp,
All right, let me
but
just stop everybody. If you're not a trumpet player, playing that in F sharp, that is not a very conducive trumpet key to be playing in F sharp, B. I mean, obviously you didn't know, so you just went for it. But that's pretty amazing alone. Just that you play that in F sharp, man. God bless you.
but
Woo.
when you really think about it, we only have like three buttons to push, right?
I only
We
use
only
two
have
of
three.
them. I use two of them.
and
uh,
and after that, when I started to learn how to read, I couldn't play it anymore.
really?
Check that out,
It
because
was your head?
yeah, it's here, man. It's here. Better not to know most of the stuff. So after that, the band director wanted me to take lessons
Okay.
from these famous guys and stuff, and but I hated lessons.
Yeah, me too.
So yeah, so I never took any lessons. I just bought a bunch of um method books, Arbin's, Chalier,
Uh-huh.
Clark, the standards.
Standards.
And I just picked out the things that I felt that was fun to play.
Okay.
Whatever that wasn't fun to do, I didn't do it. And I
Wow.
hated to be in a yeah, I hated to be in a practice room playing by myself. I
Yeah, we want to be
enjoyed
with
playing with
everybody.
somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I did. I joined the community bands, and I would cut classes and go to different schools, band classes, and sit in.
Wow.
They would let me do that because my dad was pretty famous trumpet player. So the band directors would be, oh, here's Eric again. Oh shit, yeah, come play.
Wow.
So all I did, yeah, Carl, I to this day I don't remember ever practicing really.
That's
I
great.
just played.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm really undisciplined, but I played. I didn't have any. This is classical, this is big band, this is marching band, concert band thinking.
Sure.
It was all music to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my dad bought me a piccolo early on when I
Okay.
was in seventh grade, I think. No, no, eighth grade. Yeah, I played Haydn on E flat
Okay.
because my dad had an E flat,
Mhm.
and I played a bunch of piccolo stuff. Also, at the same time, I was doing a big band thing.
Oh,
I
cool.
would transcribe Maynard's charts, and yeah, we'll play Birdland and Rocky and Hey Jude and stuff like that.
All the fun stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, it's funny you say that about your dad because I had a very similar relationship where my dad, I've said this in a few interviews throughout the past. My dad drove a truck in the morning, a garbage truck, and I'd hear him get up at 5 in the morning and leave the house at 5:30. I'd hear him leave and he'd come back at 2 o'clock, he'd take a shower, take a little nap, and then he'd go out and play. And whenever he'd go out to play, he'd be whistling and happy. And, he took his garbage truck uniform off, took a shower. He goes, I went to work in the morning and now I'm going to play. Because if you can go to work and go to play, that's the difference. He goes, I go to play now. And that stuck with me. I was like, wow. And he took out a totally different persona. It was like your dad, like you say, he was a totally different guy, man. He was sharp going out. And, I was like, man, I'd like to do that. Actually, what was funny is I kind of dug being a garbage man. Go follow him on a garbage route. I'd like picking up things and throwing things in the truck. But then at night, he'd get all clean and be like, and people would leave him happy. And that was, I think, your second influence with Maynard was also my influence with Maynard. People left the concerts happy. None of this dark. I mean, I love Miles Davis. I'm sure you love Miles Davis too. But some of that dark mentality, meaning music's mystical and has a different connotation where it could be kind of mysterious. That's great too. But man, you left those concerts with those guys and you were happy. It was just a different mindset.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Crazy. So, hey, did we lose our friend Steven? We have a nice chat going. How we doing, man?
Doing good over here. We got a good crowd. Got some questions rolling in. You guys talked about Maynard a little bit. We got Ed Sargent is joining us, hanging out in the chat.
God.
Yeah, he says, much love to you both. I first met Eric at Great American Music Hall in San Francisco when he was with Buddy's band. Maynard and Buddy, 2 shows each. But that was a show.
Oh, can I chime in on that?
Please.
I got a story about that. We did I think 2 or 3 of those double band gigs.
Okay.
And we did the Great American Music Hall twice, I think. And I remember this, man. I have a picture somewhere. But anyway, the band drove into San Francisco. We parked in front of the hall, and on a huge marquee, it said Buddy Rich Band and there's a Maynard Ferguson band. It was like Buddy's band was on top, and Maynard's name was below that. So we unload, we get inside, and we do a setup little sound check, and we go back downstairs to the dressing room. And Maynard's dressing room and Buddy's dressing room was like side to side, side by side, separated by this like really really thin, plywood kind of thing, and and the Buddy's going ape shit because he said, I'm not opening up for Maynard. We're not opening up. We're not a Walmart band. Change the marquee. And he's yelling at the manager. And I'm like, oh shit, okay, here he goes again. So anyway, I go over and I'm hanging out with Maynard, and I don't know if Ed was there, but and some guy from the Great American Music Hall comes in and, hey, Mr. Ferguson, Mr. Rich wants to change the setup of the marquee, right? And Maynard kind of looks at me, he winks, and he goes, and he said really loud so that Buddy could hear it, and he goes, oh great, that's great, yeah, because I wanted to go to this restaurant that you always wanted to go, so it would be good, yeah, that if you go first, you can get out early and then we can go to the restaurant. Oh wonderful, yeah, beautiful, that would work out great, fine. And then you hear Buddy going, we're going first.
You have to top him.
Oh man, yeah. So Buddy, Maynard really knew,
How
how
to grind
Buddy's,
him up.
yeah. But I tell you what, man, Buddy had such a respect for Maynard too.
Did he?
Oh, he sure did. He sure did. We were hanging somewhere. Well, we were in the bus. We were hanging, and we was talking about all these high note trumpet players, and and we're saying, well, yeah, Cat Anderson, man. Oh my God, and Bud Brisbois. Oh shit, and Doc. Oh man. And he goes, but hey, Buddy goes, but no one plays like Maynard, man. How did he say it? He said only Maynard could sing up there. That's what
Yeah.
he said, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. So Buddy knew.
Yeah.
Buddy
He was
really knew, man.
very perceptive. It's funny because I heard different renditions of that story, and I don't have to tell you because you lived it with the Buddy Rich Band. How many Buddy stories you've heard, kind of, that are fictional, what really happened, and the truth's in the middle somewhere. But I love hearing the real deal from you. That's great. I could see Maynard winking at you saying, "Okay, yeah, we get to go eat, and sounds great. We get off early." It was always about the food. Well, Big Daddy, Ed Sargent, thank you for being here, man. We both love you and miss you. And um, man, when was the last time you seen Ed, Eric?
Probably the St. Louis gig.
No, 2006, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Ed, man, he was always so gracious, warm, inviting.
Yep.
And man, what a beautiful guy. No, I saw him in when the band was here
Okay.
in Tokyo, right? Uh, and we the band did a bunch of Blue Note gigs here.
Okay.
Yeah, and Dan Miller was there. John Owens, I think,
Oh, cool. Great.
was on the
Love those
band,
guys.
and maybe, yeah, maybe Dante was on the band. I don't know.
Dante
So
Luciano.
anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, but it's a good 20 years since I seen Ed. So Ed, I love you, man. Want to see you soon, man. So stay safe. Yeah.
Got another friend here, Frank Abramson says, "Hey Carl, we were in Japan with Eric in '98 when Eric sat in with the band."
That was 98.
Yeah,
Wow. Frank Abraham. Remember Frank? He was he was a great trumpet player, nice, really, really just a humble guy. He was actually he took over the valet gig. He was Maynard's assistant after I did it. So he was with Maynard a lot. He's a great trumpet player. Frank's in Minnesota nowadays, I think. So actually, don't you have a video of that concert?
I do actually. Funny.
All right, can I? Well, let's play it and I'll set it up. I mean,
All right.
Eric, this might bring back some memories, man.
All right, here we go.
Frank too, maybe Frank Abrahamson. We'll check it out. There it is.
Yeah, man.
There it is. Remember that night, Eric?
Sure do, man. I remember I got the invitation to come to see the show. And Tom Garling comes over to me in the audience. He says, "Hey, Maynard wants you to play." And I'm like, no, 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 thanks. Just want to enjoy the show. I don't want to be nervous about,
Mhm.
being ready to play. And but it was Tom's birthday, and also
Oh,
it was Tom's last night on the band. I think
really?
yeah. I think he was gonna leave after that tour.
Okay.
So Tom's like, hey, Eric, for me, man, do it for me, man. So it's like, okay, yeah, okay, I'll do it. But yeah, that was a good one. I remember Scott Engelbright had a little thing in his lip,
Yep.
like a little cactus or something. So you were playing lead on Birdland, and man, you pasted that G, man. It was a beautiful
Oh,
G.
thanks.
Oh man,
I
but
remember. I
yeah.
remember you. I only played it like for some reason Scott was unbelievable because he could play every other note with the callus, but the G. So anytime a G came up, he'd look at me and I played. I remember someone slapping me on the back and it was you. And I turned around, I'm like, "There's my friend Eric." It was great, man. But you came out and you did your thing again. Maynard, what I loved about Maynard is and you have that mentality now. I love it. Is you're never afraid to share the spotlight. I feel the same thing with Billy Joel. He'll always toss the ball. Here you go, play, do your thing, and always entrusted people that he liked and he loved you, man. So you came out and killed it. But what was funny was for years on Maynard's band, for about 6 months when I first joined Maynard's band, he would mess my name up and call me Carl Perkins, Carl. I was never Carl Fischer. I was 10 different names, and it was always funny. And so I got to tell this story, and maybe you heard it on the video or not. He introduced you and Eric Hiroshima, and we're in Japan. And says Eric Hiroshima by accident, and Tom and I were literally like, we just can't even put it. I can't even fathom. He said Eric Hiroshima, and it was a pleasant thing. He didn't mean it. And then after the gig, I remember someone saying to him, "You said Hiroshima instead of Miyashiro." He goes, "Oh." He was classic Maynard. He's like, "Oh, I messed it up again." And oh, that was a
you
great
know,
moment.
Buddy Rich couldn't pronounce my name for like a year.
Really?
So yeah, so he called me, let's see, Mr. Sulu.
What?
Oh no.
Um and one night he called me Eric Maraschino,
Maricino. Oh,
like a maraschino
true,
cherries, and
Jerry.
right. And I don't know how this came, but he one night he called me Madam Butterfly.
What? Oh my God.
Right?
Oh,
Oh my
oh.
god. But anyway, yeah, speaking of Buddy, man, when I attended Berkeley,
Okay.
the reason why I went to Berkeley was because that I heard a lot of the road bands will look if they're needed, a player in a hurry, and that was a go to school
Yeah,
for the bands to sort of pick up a young kids. So I didn't want to get a diploma. I knew the diploma wasn't going to guarantee me a gig, or
sure.
a career. So I wanted to be somewhere that was that people would be, that people would be able to find me.
Mhm.
So anyway, my plan when I got there was, okay, Maynard's band. That's the go-to band. That's the
What I
one
want.
number one choice. Yeah, I want to join Maynard's band. The second band was Basie. I really love Count Basie.
Yeah.
And the third, Woody Herman. Woody would be good, you
Okay.
know. And the last band was like Buddy, oh Buddy, which I hear all these horror stories about him.
Yeah.
If I had to, maybe Buddy's band. But sure enough, the first call I got was from the Buddy's band. This is like 2 years into Berkeley, and I turned the band down at first.
Really?
Yeah, I got a call to join, and I said to myself, well, maybe not. Maybe I should, save myself for Maynard.
Yeah. Right.
Right. So I turned it down. But after that, oh my God, I regret it. And people heard about me turning down Buddy's band. So all the students, I was walking, in a in a in a school, and all these guys, would pass me by and say, "Ooh, there's Eric Miyashiro. He turned down Buddy's band. Ooh, man." And they would tease me and shit. And I was thinking, man, maybe I, missed that big boat, that big
Yeah.
chance. I messed it up. Oh my God. But sure enough, he called me again.
Really?
So, whew, man, I just jumped on it right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I tell you not well, that this story kind of continues. I got the call in my dorm room. Of course, we're like partying. The bong, the pizza, the beer. It's a college dorm. Anyway,
Oh,
so the phone rings like 1 or 2. It was like 2 a.m.
oh, jeez.
Yeah, and picked it up, and this is Buddy Rich band, and it's like it hung up, and I thought people, someone was like, I thought it was a crank call.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the phone rings again, and it's Buddy himself, and it's just this is Buddy Rich. We fired the lead trumpet player. Can you come over tomorrow? We were playing at the Linfield, Massachusetts,
Really?
which wasn't too far from Boston anyway. And I said, I'll be there, sir. And And for yeah, it's first thing in the morning. I leave, with my bags and my horns, and I got to the Holiday Inn,
Uh-huh.
and the band was supposed to be there at 4, but 6 o'clock comes by and the band's not there. 7, it's like 7:30 is the downbeat, and the band's not there. And it's
Wow.
like 7:15, the band rolls in, and everybody's rushing out with their gears and stuff. And I'm trying to find the manager. It's like, and he said, "Oh, yeah, you're Eric," and he hands me a book that thick, and here's a book, and here's a uniform, change and be on the stage in 15 minutes.
Oh,
And
Lord.
yeah, and I asked him, yeah, so what are we playing? And he says, it's up to Buddy. We don't know. We never know.
Oh,
And I said,
Lord.
okay, okay, good. Oh man, shit. So anyway, I get on I get on the stage, and I'm like nervous as hell. And I look, the first person I see in the audience is I think it was Steve Weist.
Oh, the trombone player.
Yeah, I think it was Steve. Maynard's band was, turns out that they played in the same town the night before, and they
Oh,
had a day off. So the Maynard, the whole
nice
Maynard
song.
band was in the audience,
Yeah.
and I say, okay, no pressure. Yeah, right. Yeah. So so that was my first night on Buddy's band. Oh
Oh,
my god,
God.
I don't remember how I played, but I think I got kind of got through it. And after the show, Buddy passes by. He goes, "Relax, kid." And that's all he said.
Really? Relax.
Yeah, relax, kid.
Wow. Huh.
So anyway, yeah, that's my first night on Buddy's band. Oh
How
my
long
god.
did you stay on that band for? For people who don't aren't up,
Uh, almost 3 years.
long time on Buddy. That's like 25 years in regular life. Because Buddy was hard
Yeah,
to work for, man. God bless you. I was
but
hmm,
you know what, Carl, man. All the stories that you hear about how difficult he was, and how much of a like a dictator kind of type that he may have you know presented himself to be. He
yeah.
wasn't. He was a
Okay.
sweetheart. Oh my god, he
Really?
was a beautiful heart.
Wow.
And he was a very smart guy, man. All the stories about he's giving all these speeches after the show and stuff. It's true, but
Okay.
they were all the same speeches from like 1960s.
Really?
See, what he did was that he knew how to lead a band because he was in Tommy Dorsey's band.
Yeah.
The a lot of the things that he would say to us when things got tough, was that he'd say, "You think I'm tough? Try being on Tommy's band."
Wow.
Yeah, and he knew that if you had a easy going, nice band leader, the band would sort of shift into a little clicks,
Yep.
like the trombone section, sax sections, and the trumpet section, and they would like, be kind of talking behind their back and stuff.
Yeah.
Or the Miami guys, the East Bay guys,
Yeah.
the North Texas guys. But if you had one strong, dictator band leader, you would have the band against the band, the leader. So
Yep.
the band would be, you know,
Unified.
unified, and he knew that. So he presented to, he wanted to, be that tough guy kind of thing.
Wow.
Yeah, and Bobby told me that too.
Bobby Shoe.
Bobby Shu said that the night before he got no. Well, the anyway story that he gave me was that they were somewhere in West Coast, and there were a bunch of reporters,
Okay.
the TV and news people were there, um, interviewing him and stuff, and he was like, yelling at the band, knowing that, the interview people were there, and they're like screaming at the band, and he gets off the stage and he passes by Bobby, and he goes to Bobby, "Hey, how was I?"
Oh man.
So
Can't make this up.
those, yeah, yeah.
Wow, man. You know,
So
since we're talking about Buddy and you going, Berkeley at Berkeley into Buddy's band for 3 years, and he wasn't. Sorry to interrupt you. He was, he had a good heart. What made you? I think I know the answer to this question, but I'm ask it anyway. You were in beautiful, sunny Hawaii. What made you go to cold, dark Boston? Yeah, right. You're there now. No, I'm here in Tokyo. But what was it, because you knew all these guys were getting pulled out of Berkeley to go to the big bands? That's where I want to go. That was the mindset at the time for you.
yeah, that was part of it. Because at that time in '80s, Berkeley had, oh man, about 10 big band ensembles.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they had like the Buddy, Woody, Mel Lewis, Tad and
Sure.
Mel, Boss Brass,
Oh wow. Rob McConnell's book. They had Rob's book, huh?
yeah, Basie, and they would, the Dukes
Mm.
stuff. So
Wow.
anyway, so all these bands would donate their charts to the school, so you would be able to actually play in the real charts
That's
to
cool.
study them. So I wanted to do that, and also they gave me a scholarship, the very first Maynard Ferguson scholarship, full ride
Really?
with the dorm. Yeah,
I love that. So Maynard's his first scholarship was to you to go to
yeah,
Berkeley.
yeah.
There's my nugget of beautifulness. I love that story, man. I love every story, but that's great. Wow. And that was what year did you go to? What was that? You remember the year? It was 82, 83?
uh, it was 83.
83. Okay. Wow, that's great,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. I graduated in '81, and I got the scholarship, but I didn't have enough money to fly over to
Oh,
Boston.
okay.
Yeah, so I spent a good part of 1982 playing,
Okay.
freelancing in Hawaii, and that was good too, because I got to play with all these, the Henry Mancini,
Oh, wow.
uh, and Bill Conti's gig, and I got to play with lot of the legends,
Yeah.
and make some money, and do some prep work, I guess. So
Yeah. Oh, that's
yeah.
beautiful. I love it, man. I love it. Well, since we're going on, how's our buddy over there in Chicago land doing? What do you got, Steve?
Doing good. We got a bunch of questions coming in. I want to make sure we get to some of them. I'm really digging the stories too, so I could just sit here.
Yeah, I'm
but
learning.
let's see. We got you guys have obviously talked about Maynard's influence. Had a couple people asking if you were ever officially offered the gig with Maynard's band, Eric.
Not officially, but yeah, several times from the trumpet players.
That's
Yep.
that's a good
Yeah.
recommendation.
I can't name this trumpet player, but he offered me the gig once, and but in exchange to for him to get take my chair in Buddy's band.
You want to flop them.
Yeah, yeah. So, but I kind of declined at that time because Buddy, I was starting to really get into the music and starting to be able to play that book. So anyway, the next day, I remember this like like it was yesterday. We were in Disneyland, and before the gig started, Buddy calls me into his dressing room, and he goes, "Eric, I heard you got an offer from Maynard's band," and I couldn't figure out how he found that out, man. Oh my
Wow.
god. And I was like speechless. I was like, and Buddy goes, "You want to play circus music or real music?"
Really? Wow.
And he's like, "You want to join Manuel Ferguson's band?"
Oh,
Yeah, he had all these names. He called Maynard Mendel Ferguson once. Well, any so so anyway, he said, he said you don't want to play those, the circus music, stay in the band, and
wow.
he gave me a raise.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah, hundred bucks, and man, that was special.
Yeah.
You meant a lot to me because the first year on the band, he hardly spoke to me.
Really?
I thought he hated me, man. He wouldn't even make eye contacts. Only when I played or clammed something, or he didn't like the way was playing, he would kind of glare at me. So I figured, man, he hates me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be fired any day. So I was like scared every night.
Oh, wow.
I was like, oh shit, man, this is not fun, man. But I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
I was too green when I got on the band. I knew it. He knew it. And I said that to myself, okay, well, it was a good run, but I'm gonna be leaving pretty soon, I think. And no one's in the band. He's really talking to me too,
Oh,
because
wow.
yeah, because they see a lot of guys come and go.
Yeah.
It was a tough, as being on the road is tough, man. Oh my
Uh,
god.
Part of the gig is learning how to get along with everybody on the road and knowing what the protocol is. Yeah.
Exactly. So, um, Buddy would try to mess with the guys sometime
Oof.
by adding or subtracting a beat on his fills and drum solos.
Oh,
To see, to check out, if you're really listening.
okay.
And he would purposely slow or like rush his solo,
Really?
bend the time sort of, and bring it back again right before the band comes in. Of course the band would come crashing in, and it'd be chaos, right? And he would go into his thing. He would get us in the band bus, and he would start yelling for half an hour. And he's like, don't count drum solos. The drum solos are music too.
Really?
So listen to the music. Listen to the. Don't count my drum solos. And he would just
Wow.
go into these things. And one night he did it again. Um, he dropped the beat, and he messed with the band, and the band, of course, messed it up, coming back in, and of course, back in the bus. And he started to do his thing again. He went one by one uh through in the bus, going down the aisle, asking the members, what happened at the Willow Crest, what happened, one by one. And the guys in the band were going, I don't know, buddy. They're like trying to avoid the question. And of course the lead trumpet player's chair is the very last seat in the bus, right?
Okay.
it's it's that's the way it is.
Yeah.
Anyway. and he comes to me last. And Eric, what happened on Willow Crest? And I was, kind of I was tired of being scared anymore, and I just said to him, buddy, you dropped the beat. And buddy goes, what? I dropped the beat. I messed up. Fuck you. Oh, I'm sorry.
All right.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, we need this. We need the reality here. He said
Okay.
that. He got mad.
Stevie, can you bleep that out, man? Stevie? So anyway, and he, you know, cursed, and went stormed back to his area in front of the bus, and we started to drive, to the next town, and I sat in my chair and said, okay, that was it.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm going home. Okay, I'll call my mom and my. Okay, good. That was fun. That was a good run. Okay, learned a lot. So, so next morning, we got up, and we went into the bus, to drive to the next town. And here's Buddy sitting in his captain's chair, and he goes to me, "Good morning, Eric," and he's smiling. So I'm like, okay, good morning, sir." And I'm walking towards my chair, my seat, and confused. And Steve Marcus, Steve Marcus is.
I don't know, Steve. I'm sorry.
But anyway, he's the Steve Marcus is was a great tenor player. He's been on the band for, like, man, 10, 15 years.
Oof.
Long timer. Anyway, I passed by Steve, and Steve goes, "Welcome to the band, Eric."
Really?
Meaning that,
Stood up to him.
Buddy recognizes you now. You stood up to him. See, Buddy didn't like people, especially a lead trumpet player,
Timid.
to be timid. No, no, no. He wanted guys like, like Dave Stahl, Bibiano, like Bobby,
Yep.
would kind of stick it back to him.
Wow.
Yeah, and yeah, because he knew, that I was too young and too soft. So, he was especially, kind of not hard, I would say, but he didn't, be nurturing in a
Yeah.
way. That's so, man, from that point on, he would scream and yell, and and he'd give me the shit. But man, I tell you, Carl, man, that was the best musical experience in my life.
I can imagine.
Woody Herman's band. After that, I took Roger Ingram's chair.
Okay. In Woody's band.
But Woody wasn't on the band at the time. He was already sick.
He got sick of
Yeah, so after about a month on Woody's band, Woody died.
Yeah.
So yeah, so technically I was Woody's last trumpet player,
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
and I
okay.
was, Buddy's last trumpet player.
Wow. I didn't
And
think of it that way. Yeah.
yeah, and after that I did about 2 weeks of Mel Lewis.
Okay.
And Mel was sick too, and Mel died after that tour. And here comes 2002 or 4.
Okay.
Maynard's in Tokyo,
Yep.
so I went to see him, and as soon as he saw me, Maynard goes, "Stay away from Eric. I know your reputation of killing band leaders."
Yeah, exactly. He goes, that's quintessential Maynard. So yeah, the moral of the story is don't be a big band leader and have Eric play with you, because it could be your last gig. All the fire you play with, you kill him. Wow,
awesome.
bro. That's beautiful stories, though. That's really nice.
Great. We actually have a couple people chiming in saying hello. AJ Nestor's chiming in saying at Berserkly, Eric was our spirit guide. I'm assuming that you were a classmate of AJ's.
Oh, AJ, I love you, man. How are you, man? Missing you, dude.
Let's see. James Skitka is asking, he's always wondered if that legendary story was true about you using glue to fix a split in your chops.
Mm. Yes, sir.
Super glue,
We
right?
did. Yeah, we did 67 nights straight on one of the tours, See, back in those days, when the tour started on Buddy's band, we never had a set end date. They would keep adding dates
Hmm?
because the band would, yeah. Back in those days, the band, we got paid weekly. So whenever the nights that we didn't play, the band didn't have any revenue coming in, so they would keep adding
Okay.
shows as the tour went on. So this one run that we did was like 68 days, like all hit and runs.
Oof. Wow.
Oh, even the sax players were bleeding.
Wow. Yeah.
Um, so about midway through the tour, man, my top lip started to cut, and we had to keep playing. I couldn't pass the charts around because I was getting paid the lead trumpet players pay.
Okay.
So Buddy didn't dig me, passing the charts around, right?
Wow.
Yeah, so I had to keep playing on it, and the cut started on the uh, top lip, and started to cut on my left side, and the cut kept getting bigger and bigger, and soon, it was like piece of flesh like dangling down whenever I started to play, bleeding and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, so I heard like urban well, I heard this thing from a friend that same thing happened to Bobby's shoe, and Bobby used model plane glue to shut that cut up. So I said, okay, let me try that. So at the truck stop, I found myself a crazy glue, and I put it on. And sure enough, it shut. Well, it kind of prevented the cut to open up and to bleed.
Wow.
But I could only play about from a top line G to about a high E on a fortissimo, like really loud.
Really?
That's all I could do. But when you think about it, that's like the lead trumpet player's range, right?
Yeah. That's the meat, right?
Yeah, so I could kind of make it, get by playing on that crazy glue lip. And
Wow.
about 5, 6 days later, it came off by its own self. Yeah, kind of fell off,
Wow.
and the cut was okay.
Really?
Yeah, and I could start playing again.
Oh, thank
But
God.
but Carl, man, that was the most painful thing you can even imagine, man. It was
I can't
unbelievable.
imagine. I can't imagine.
God. I
Oh,
have a picture somewhere, but of that, so
do
I'll
you?
try to find it. I'll try to
Oh
find
man.
it.
You know,
Yeah.
wow, it's funny because our drummer with Billy Joel, I've seen him. He'll cut his hand from playing drum, and he'll put crazy glue in his cuts. He does the same thing to this day when he plays really hard. I know a lot of drummers now that use crazy glue. I always thought about you. James, thanks for that question because I always wondered too if that was fiction or the truth. So there it is. The hang is honest, man. Thank you for that story, man. That's you're a bigger man than I am with crazy glue.
Oh, here it is. Here it is. Steven, can you give me access to
The
Oh yeah.
picture?
Second.
yeah.
We'll
Oh,
try
you
it.
got it.
Yeah, I found it.
All right. Yeah, you be able to.
Okay, here it is.
Oh, hang on. I got to switch something real quick. There you go.
Yeah, can you see that?
Oh
Yeah.
Lord.
Yeah, so that's where the big blob of crazy glue is.
Oh Lord, man.
Look at the caption of the picture.
Yeah, my chops trying to kill me.
I got this from the baritone sax player's photo album. So there, kids, don't
Wow.
try this at home. Okay, please.
you're,
Crazy.
you're wild, man. I love it. Well, that answered James'
Awesome.
question. What else
Yeah,
we got? And
awesome.
we'll keep on going. I got a
Thanks.
couple questions more for Eric, but
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a whole bunch of people wanting to speak to Eric.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Our buddy Chris Manners is on.
Yamaha, Chris.
Yep. It's from Yamaha.
Hey.
Let's see. Dan Potts says, make sure to say hello. Let's see. Richie Sagara, love you guys. Carl and Eric, big hugs. Brian Elliott, this is awesome. Noah asks, well, you mentioned this a little bit earlier, Eric, when you were talking about don't become a plastic Maynard. Noah's asking if there's any other advice that Maynard gave to either of you guys that really inspired you guys as a trumpet player.
Go ahead, Carl.
Yeah, I can't just pick one.
I know. Yeah.
I'll go back to the kind of circle the wagons again. I'll go back to, it happened to me many times on a bandstand and many times in the studio recording with Maynard. You realize you're never going to out Maynard. You're never going to do what Maynard does. You can come close and you can try to play energy wise and excitement wise. And what Eric brings to the table is what Eric brings. What I bring to the table is what I bring. I remember him always saying, I'd get caught up, and I'm sure it has happened with a lot of trumpet players. And I'm sure even it's happened with you, Eric, where you get into the dueling thing where you're trading with Maynard and he just sucks you into this hole. And it's like, and I remember him always saying in the studio and a couple of times on the gig, stop, play you, Carl, play Carl Fischer, play, I remember him saying, play your bop, play your excitement, play your range of your horn, but play you, don't play me. And to this day, that sticks in my head. That was one of the things when I tried, especially you were talking about tributes earlier too. A lot of guys try to go note for note in a tribute. And that's what I love about Eric's playing is Eric is genuine Eric. And from the time a note starts with Eric or Wayne Bergeron, Walter White, I can name a whole Dan Miller. They all have their individual sound. And that's what I loved about Maynard. He was a big proponent of you being you. So that always stuck in my head, and then also the humility. Eric shows it every time, the humility of, it's great if you're a great trumpet player, but don't mean shit if you're not a good person. So those two things stick in my head. Hopefully that answered that. Eric, what do you got, brother?
My story is not that beautiful, but as you know, Carl, Maynard didn't really wanted to talk about the mechanics of the playing.
Never.
This how do you do that kind of question, because he would kind of avoid it by talking about his dog and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And dog.
but I remember I was backstage and one of his fans came in and he's asking all these questions about how do you get the tongue and what do you do with the embouchure and what do you think about the diaphragm and Maynard Maynard said, when in doubt, just press harder. I thought that was beautiful, man.
That's a beautiful Maynard story. Yeah, and when in doubt, warm up is for weaklings. He would say that too. Warm up for weaklings. Why are you warming up? That's great.
And I remember Greg Gisbert told me this story. That Gizzy at that time he didn't have the chop that he had now.
Yeah.
But he was on a lead chair. And he said that he really didn't play well one night.
Oh, this was Gizzy with Maynard.
Yeah.
We were in the Jakarta. No, we were in
Thailand.
We went to Thailand. I was on the band with him at that time. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, he said that he this one concert in Thailand he didn't feel good. He felt that he didn't play well. And he went to Maynard and apologized to him. He said, "Hey, Maynard, I'm sorry, man. Bad chop night, and I really played bad tonight. I'm sorry." And Maynard said, "Better you than me."
Yeah.
Actually, I thought that was beautiful. That's such a beautiful thing to say. When you really think about it,
He was very forgiving that way, man, because he was there. He's been through it. I mean, and Gizzy, like you said, his chops are amazing and his bebop chops are second to none. I remember, we had a long flight over to Thailand and we played for the king of Thailand. In fact, Stephen, you might have it. If you could pull up, we're doing show and tell. There might be a picture. You pulled it up a long time ago. There's a picture of Maynard, myself, Gizzy, and Jay Roberts playing for the king of Thailand. That was this gig that Gizzy was talking about, if you can find it. But Gizzy was like really upset. He's like, I didn't play my best. I'm like, dude, don't worry about it. Maynard knew the mechanics of the brass instrument. He was very lenient that way. If you had a bad night, I had a lot of we all had bad nights. I don't have to tell you, but that's a great story, man. While Steven's looking for the picture, I might as well hit you with another thing. So, you know, you had your road schooling through Buddy Rich, Woody Herman. You touched on a lot of these wonderful things that you did. What you're playing in the States, you're traveling around doing these road bands. What was the impetus? Why did you decide, okay, I'm going to go to Japan. I'm going to work in Japan. What made you move to Japan? Was it a conscious thing, or did you have some work laid out? How'd that happen?
Yeah, great question, Carl. My dad is American,
Okay.
born and raised in Hawaii, and so am I. And my mom was born and raised in Tokyo.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had relatives here. Um,
Beautiful.
yeah, and being on the road, and I'm sorry, it's not really political stuff, but it's
Sure.
about racism.
Yep.
Being, Oriental,
Yep.
I had my share of, being sort of a segregated and racially profiled.
Ah, man.
And some of the gigs in like deep in the south on the Buddies band,
Oh,
some of the restaurants wouldn't serve me.
oh.
And this one venue that I went to, the band drove in, and the bouncer wouldn't let me through the front door. He say, "Hey, you, come to the back." And
This
it,
is in the 80s.
this is in 80s, man.
Shouldn't
And
happen anytime, but this is in the 80s. It shouldn't happen anytime, but Jesus Christ.
oh my God, I got called all these names, Ching, Rai, Jap, whatever, and
Oh,
growing up in Hawaii, I never experienced that because we,
yeah.
the Hawaii was so, racially so diverse.
Worse, yeah.
There was nothing. We all hated each other equally, so.
Oh,
But kind of dawned on me that I would I got up at 7 in the morning and went to my junior high school and played those reveille, those
yeah.
bugle stuff
Balls, yeah.
for the for the flag raising and stuff. I
Oh, wow.
consider myself
American.
American always, at
Sure.
first, but by all this experiencing all this race stuff, I
Right.
was kind of questioning, my ethnic,
Mhm.
background, or who am I, I'm not really American, I'm not really Japanese. When I went to Japan several times, I couldn't speak the language, so people kind of shied away from me.
Really.
So anyway, it's kind of thing. Who am
I
I
got to
kind of thing.
interrupt. Did your mom speak Japanese when you were a child? Did she try to make you speak Japanese?
She tried, but
You didn't want
I
to
kind
learn.
of
I didn't want to learn Spanish either. My mom tried to teach me Spanish. It's like, no, I want nothing to do with it. I'm mad.
exactly, yeah, same thing. I kind of regretted it, but anyway, so I got off the road, and it's just I was thinking, okay, what am I gonna do now? And I told my mom that story, and she said, well, why don't you go to Japan and live with the Japanese people for a little while, to see, how that's gonna be. That's your second home. That's your ethnic background anyway.
Okay.
you're half Japanese.
Yep.
And I said, okay, I will give it a try. So I flew over, and I was planning to just stay for about a month.
Okay.
But I met so many people that kind of recognized me from all these road bands,
Yeah.
started to started to give me gigs.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so that 1 month turned into 30 years, Carl.
You've been there 30 years, back 30.
Wow.
Wow. God bless you.
Yes. Yeah, so met my wife, my Japanese wife, and I have two kids, and I
Beautiful.
really can't complain. I kind of, sometimes I kind of, wish maybe, I should have stayed in LA, so, I would be working with Wayne, and
Sure.
maybe if I, stayed in New York, maybe working with Cadillac,
Yep.
but man, I'm really happy where I am. It's not. really where you are. It's what you are doing at the given spot. I'm a
Yeah,
musician first, and like you said, you didn't want to play in those pit bands and stuff. I want to be you know on the stage, close to the audience.
yep,
So and that's I'm able to do that.
beautiful.
I'm able to do studio gigs, and I'm able to do my own things now, my
Yeah,
big
man,
bands. Yeah, so
that's great.
I'm yeah pretty happy with my life, right now.
Good for
Yeah,
you, man. That's a beautiful
yeah.
story. It came from just the horrible, like you said, the reverse racism or racism in general, to where um, you turn a negative into a positive, which is my hats are off to you, man. So, oh man. Hey, Steven, how you making out with that picture?
Right
Oh, there it
there.
is.
You have it?
Yep, it's up.
All right. So there's Jay Roberts in the middle. There's Maynard on the end. And then Jay Roberts is on the end. Sorry, Jay Roberts is on the end. Greg Gisbert is a smaller guy with his white shirt on. Mike Maynard and that's the Prince of Thailand we were playing for. Yeah, that was a fun gig going back a couple years ago. So I guess that was the mid-90s. That was a fun little time. Wow. Well, cool. So
Yep.
I'm sure our friends have a lot more questions, so we might as well field a
Yeah.
few more before we Eric, we appreciate you coming, man. It's early. It's 13 hours forward, so we actually got Eric out of bed early today. So thank you for doing that, man. I appreciate it.
Very cool. All right, let's see. I have. Let's see. Oh, where'd it go? Um, some more geeky questions as we call them. Bobby Kellum is asking if you'd talk a little bit about your Yamaha horn setup.
That's torn Yamaha ass.
Okay. When I was on the road bands, my setup was small, shallow, high compression mouthpiece with a huge horn. The high, fast, loud kind of setup, right?
Were you playing an
So
X3? Were you playing a Shilky on that band?
yes,
I
yes,
remember that. Yeah,
exactly.
I
And
remember
at
that.
that time,
How do I remember this?
Wayne Wayne Bergeron was on the same
Yeah,
horn
both you
in
guys
the
were.
80s.
Oh,
Yeah, because as you know, being on the road band, the acoustical situation is always different.
yep.
So you pretty much had to rely on your acoustical projection power. So the setup kind of always kind of leans towards huge horn with super shallow mouthpiece. So I was kind of muscling that all through those road bands days. And Bobby would catch me at Disneyland or the West Coast gigs.
Bobby Shoot. Yep.
And yeah, and after the gig, he always says, Eric, it's cool, that you're young and you have that energy and the power to kind of go for it every night with that equipment. But trust me, when you get older, you gonna want to go a little smaller and use the resistance to your advantage.
Yeah.
So try my horn. Trust me. Try my 83, well, the 6310Z.
6310Z at that point. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
and I did. I bought one, but I could never play it. And I was like, oh man, how the hell he plays on this small pea shooter?
It's stuffy at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, so I couldn't do it. But when I came to Japan, and I started to do a lot of studio works, and I did find myself working too hard on a lot of the stuff that I had to do. So I needed to go smaller, but the Z was too small.
Yeah.
So what I did was I took the 8310 or the 6210, and I kind of modified it, put a different bell on it, put a different lead pipe on it, and sort of tweaked it. And that was the beginning of my signature model. So it's
Okay.
basically, it started off as the Z.
Okay.
It has the same bell shape, has the same lead pipe, and the valve, the piston is in M. The bore size is medium.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's offspring of Bobby's horn.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
it's a great horn. It's a 5 1/4 inch bell, if I remember correctly. It's a big
Yep.
bell. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny because a lot of times too, I was going through a lot of different equipment things. I was always into Maynard's old constellations, medium bore. And what drew me, I started doing Broadway. I was doing Billy Joel's Moving Out show, and the Yamaha Altieri, which is Wayne Tanabe, wonderful. Wayne Tanabe was down the block, and try the 8310Z. I played a 6310Z before that, and I didn't like it. It was too small. And so finally, Wayne at Yamaha got Eric Miyashiro's horn head, and I was drawn to the sound of the bell. I could hear myself. I'm like, man. So I started kind of doing the same thing. I took Bobby's body and put an Eric bell on it, and then tried to start changing lead pipes. And I had a decade where I had a couple horns that I just, but the impetus of Eric's horn, and can you get them in the States? Your horn, I don't see them a lot, but they're here, correct, Eric?
Yeah. It is on the catalog.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
They just sell like hotcakes. 8340. That's the number, right? Is that your number, your horn?
Exactly. Great.
Yeah. Hit me. Yeah. 8340. So if you're lucky enough, I think Chuck Levin's in Washington Music, was that? There's one in Chuck Levin's, I can't remember the name. He had a few of them a while back, your horns. Josh Landris sometimes has them, Sam Ash has them, but they're great to play. And obviously Bobby's horn's great too. The 8310 is great, but those guys at Yamaha, we love them. Like I said, I moved on. I'm doing something else, but I really loved the way your horn, man, it was the best of like a big Shilky, but it felt like it didn't feel tight, but you had resistance. That's why I loved your horn so much. So I did a good job. And we have the same problem. We have a horn fetish, don't we? We're like totally into horns. I love it, man. I remember always talking to you. We were into players that, mouthpieces and horns. It's like scary, isn't it?
My last count was 56. I have 56 horns right now.
You're down to 56.
Yeah, exactly. Down to 56. Carl, we got to talk about the GR mouthpiece, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, there it is. Man, nice.
I'm up to 30. I'm actually down myself. I'm around 38, 39. So I tried to cull my collection. But yeah, let's talk about GR stuff too, since we're geeking out. So Gary Radke in Dousman, Wisconsin, I've been with for 20 years. Wonderful mouthpiece maker. He calls me one day. He goes, what do you know about Eric Miyashiro? I'm like, what's not to know? He's like, I think he's a great player. He's going to come in. He was so excited about you guys working together. And as you know, man, I think he's a genius. I think he's one of the last geniuses. How do you like playing your new mouthpiece for GR? Is it working out for you?
Oh, it was amazing, man. And thanks to you and guys like Wayne to put good words
we love
Gary
you.
for me.
Yeah.
And out of the blue, I get this email from Gary, and he says, I can make your life better. and I'm like, is this a spam email?
Yeah.
So anyway, we corresponded. He wanted all this information about my current horn, and what I was playing at that time was a Yamaha mouthpiece.
Yep.
So anyway, he had the specs on that, and he said that I can come up with something much better than what you're playing now.
And you were skeptical. Were you skeptical about that?
Yes, a little.
I was too. I was totally.
So I emailed Wayne right away and said, "Hey, what's the deal with this Gary Radke guy?" And Wayne said, he's a very unique guy. He's like a Doc Brown from the Back to the Future. Kind of a crazy, mad scientist type.
Yeah. I call him the Wizard. My nickname for him is the Wizard.
So, but Wayne said, "But hey, Eric, trust me, he is a genius, man, and he's a wonderful guy. It's a very nice guy.
Yeah.
Give him a chance. Try to come up with something. Try give it a try."
Yeah.
And I did, and we spent about a year and a half, I think.
Yeah.
Going back and forth with the prototypes and stuff, and we kind of nailed it down to the final spec. And I had um
Oop,
the Chase tribute that
okay.
Steven was talking about,
Yeah.
and I don't remember what year that was, but and that he was in Chicago, and that I had a friend that he was willing to drive me to Wisconsin.
Okay.
So anyway, made that trek over to his shop,
Yeah.
and we spent like 6 hours, I think, at the shop,
Sure.
just tweaking and stuff and working on things. And boy, it was unbelievable. That the mouthpiece thing, the mouthpiece constellation
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
turned out to be a trumpet lesson at the end. He
Yes. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. So anyway, we kind of narrowed things down, and what really moved me was that um no, that wasn't the Chase tribute. I'm sorry, that was something else. I had a gig with a local big band the next day, and Gary drove, the 3 hours. He made a 3.5 hours drive over to the gig to the Chicago to see me play. And
Sure.
he sat in the room and he checked me out, and he gave me a bunch of advice. And
Yep.
man, what a sweetheart and what a genius he is, man. And
Genius.
I can't say more. He's such a intelligent and very man. The way he kind of get that the the science into the music thing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's
It's no
unbelievable.
guessing. There's no guesswork. And that's the thing. If he likes you as a person, we all know, we know there's a lot of wonderful trumpet players and brass players around. But if he likes you as a person, believes in what you are, he'll come, he'll do anything for you. And what's amazing to me is it could be a 15-year-old high school kid that he's trying to improve upon, or it could be Eric Miyashiro or Wayne Bergeron. It could be, you name it. And there's no guesswork. It's his math. It's a science and math. He's not guessing and taking a tool and hoping that it's going to be a thousandth of an inch. It's, how many mouthpieces have you played that play identical? He can take 10 mouthpieces of your brand. And speaking of which, you have a different do you have a different you have one model, you have a whole bunch of different models in his line? I'm curious.
I got about six different models.
Okay.
Piccolo, flugel, the classical,
Okay.
the lead.
Beautiful. All right.
Yeah.
The
So
jazz.
and what about you, Carl?
Yeah, about the same. I think Steven, I think we're up to 6 or 7. I lost
Yeah.
track. But I think it's about 6 or 7. What do you think, Steven? You got them at your
Yeah.
desk. I don't. I put.
Yeah,
I put,
there's 6 right now with a little something special coming in the mail.
oh yeah, we got something coming in. Oh, something special. But yeah, we're very lucky because Gary is a big proponent of trying to do the right thing. And man, did you also notice when you play in his mouthpiece that sonically there's something about the sound out of these mouthpieces that I can't there seems like the overtone series is just a lot more prevalent. There's a lot more overtones on these mouthpieces.
Yeah, I think so. One of the things that he said when we were working on the mouthpiece, that he said that I can't change your sound, but I can make it for you to be able to play easier, so you're able to change the sound. And I thought that was pretty cool
Yeah,
because
man.
you and I, well, we all have a different concept, well, the color in our heads when we play different types of music, right?
Yeah, man.
So we're more with the GR. We're um, able to access more colors. I think,
Hmm.
because it's
Great way to describe it.
yeah, that's right. Because it's so much easier to play on that piece.
Wow,
So
awesome. Yeah, I want to try your mouthpiece just out of curiosity because I know we're both equipment junkies. So, and also too, tell me about. It's about me right now. I got to ask you. I remember talking to you. So you actually have, and I only have a few of these combinations of like what guys played. Like Cat Anderson would play this mouthpiece and this con trumpet. You were really into that, right? Like combinations of which not many people are hip to. Man, that's very cool.
man, I got so much mom pieces. It's unbelievable, man. I just got an exact copy of Chase's Shoki mom piece.
Really,
Yeah, the 684A, which is on the market, is not at all close to what Chase used to play.
really.
So yeah, I got like the very the same thing, and I got the Maynard's
Jordan.
Giardinelli,
Yeah.
and this is actually the mount. Well, Maynard actually owned this. I
Is
don't know
that
if you
the
can see it.
Shoki? Is that the
No,
Shoki?
No, it's a Holton MF1.
Really? Wow.
Yeah,
Very
and
cool.
I got the FBL.
Yeah. Love that
Yeah,
mouth.
yeah. And also I got the Rudy Mock. Yeah, there it
Maynard's
is.
Rudy Muck?
It's not his, but
Oh,
it's the exact same model.
yeah.
Yeah,
Very hip.
and yeah, and what I heard from a lot of the guys, but that he would he got one of these Rudy Mocks 13C, and he went out onto the street on the pavement, and he started to
Scratched it up.
grind it to make it shallower,
Oh, to make it shallower. Really?
yeah. And
Wow.
after that he would get a like a sandpaper, and it's like a smooth it out and stuff. And eventually he got that copied by a Charlie Allen or something, some mouthpiece maker at that time.
Really?
And yeah, and well, I could go on and on about. And
Yeah.
I got all this the Shoki Maynard model,
Nice.
and all the Monettes and stuff. So
Yeah. I
anyway,
got a lot of Monettes that were Maynards, and I have actually one of his old Jet Tones. I actually have one of his old Constellations. But it's funny that I never heard that story about on the pavement. He's told me that he would take, I've seen him do it. He'd get a brand new Monette mouthpiece, gold plated, gorgeous. And he goes, do you have any change? I'm like, this, Maynard stuff. Like, what do you need change for? Yeah, nah, I need change. So he'd ask me for, I'd get as much change, and he'd put it in his pocket. And he'd put the Monette mouthpiece in his pocket. And the whole day, he would jingle it around, and you hear it scratch. So why are you doing that? He goes, and he'd purchase anywhere on a mouthpiece, especially on a rim. And he would take the rim and he'd try to drag it over whatever rough things he could to make the plating rough so it would grab his chops. He goes,
yeah, that's the old days kind of thing. Yeah, yeah. Back in the days, man, yeah, I heard people doing that. It's like, what the
Awesome.
old school.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Sure. Yeah.
We could go on and on about this, man. I'm sorry. All right,
Okay.
Steven, what else you got, brother? Because we got to go soon. But,
Yeah.
what else? What do you have hitting for us?
I've actually got a pretty interesting one here that all the trumpet players on here, we've never gotten this question before. So it's from Allison. She's basically saying, as a student, you look at professional trumpet players and you always see like the most polished version of their playing during a performance. As two of my favorite players, what would you guys say is the one thing you would like to improve about your own playing?
You got it, Carl.
Everything. Like to improve everything. I noticed myself, the older I get, the prettier I want to play. I love excitement. I love high notes, but I notice now, man, if I don't address a sound a certain way, I think Bobby Shue said this, and a friend of mine, wonderful trumpet player in New York City, Barry Danilian, Tony Cadlicks. I've heard take something that you've played a million times, like Clark Technical Study, and take that halftime really slow and make it sound pretty. And however your concept of pretty is, we get into this higher as trumpet players, we get into this higher, faster, louder thing, and there's definitely a time and place for it. But I'd like to be more seamless in my playing and have more beauty. Like when I listen to one of my favorite trumpet players, Maynard, play a ballad, it's so lyrical. One of the things I love about Eric, and I'm going to talk about this, I'm not trying to give him a big head, but hearing him play, this latest thing, this train thing really moves me, man. Just the way he gets around the horn, and his first, the first record I heard, kick, excuse me, um, just the way he approaches notes. But I just like to be a prettier trumpet player. I also like to have more practical technique, I think. And what I mean by that is be able to play the trumpet better, just have more technique, not for higher, faster, louder, but have more technique and be able to be more command of my instrument all around. I don't know if that answered the question. What about you, Eric?
You know, of course, it's that fast, high, loud excitement is part of the music, but
Yeah.
that's not everything. It's so when you think about it, it's easy. It's easier to impress people with all this technique, but to touch someone, that's the that's the hard part.
Art.
Oh my God, so of course, when we were younger, we're of course naturally drawn to those the exciting part of the music,
Sure.
and that's of course, we need that. That's part of the game,
Sure.
part of the
It's part of the
music.
game. Yeah.
But as we get older, we experience more, the darker side of life, kind
Yeah.
of, which kind of make humbles you up, and you're able to appreciate more beauty. And yeah, you know back when I was younger, I hated ballads. I hated playing them because I guess I wasn't honest.
Yeah.
Because when you're playing a simple ballad, that's when you're it's like being naked in front of an audience. Here I am,
Yeah.
nothing to hide,
Nothing to
nothing to
hide.
hide kind of thing, right? So the ballads were scary for me, but
Yeah.
now all I want to do is play ballads,
Me too. It's the same thing.
and so yeah, the beauty of the music um is, of course, exciting. There's an exciting beauty,
Yep.
and there's a sad, beauty and a sadness and sorrow, and of course anger can be really beautiful too when you really think about it.
Yeah.
So but all comes down to tone. I think it's, what do you think, Carl? Sound.
Absolutely. Sound. First thing you hear is the first thing I hear. Anybody hears a sound. If you have a
Yeah.
bad sound, someone asked me about Herb Alpert a few weeks ago, and I'm sorry, I'm probably going to get in a lot of trouble. I don't like Herb's sound. I'm not fond of his sound. Other people might like it. I'm not saying it's bad. My ears are not drawn to the sound when and so that turns me off as a listener. But if I hear somebody's sound that pulls me in and moves me, you're one of them. There's not a lot of guys out. I'm like, my God, that sound, Maynard's sound is stuck in my head. I can't get it out. Thank the Lord, I hear that sound. But yeah, sound, right, Eric? You're right. You're 100% right, Eric.
I mean, it's like asking people what's the best pizza in New York. You're gonna get 100 different answers.
Sure.
So to each of us have a little connection to whatever that we that can connects to. So
Yep.
there's no best sound, I think.
No.
And but there is the core sound that you get from the personality in that from each players, and it's that's the beauty of music. If everybody sounded the same, oh my God, how boring is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so so there it's I think what we need to do is to just be honest.
Yeah.
and just and recognize yourself, and recognize the good thing about your playing, and recognize the bad things about your playing. Carl, I to this day I'm having a difficult time listening to my own, you know, the recordings and videos and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't listen to them at
Yeah.
all.
It's hard, man. It's
Y-
I hate just going in the studio and hearing myself. I'm the
Yeah,
same.
but the day that I said, hey, that's pretty good, I think that's a day that your the progress kind of stops, right? The improvement stops there once you're happy with your playing.
Yeah.
So I always want to be very critical to my own playing, and and I like to think that I suck every
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, man. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
You're your
Sounds
hardest critic, and that's for good. That's for a good reason. You
Yeah.
know.
very
So-
cool. Hey, Carl, you mentioned that that video of Eric's playing. I actually have a short clip of that train video
Oh,
with the Blue Note Big Band.
Mind, Eric, if we play a little train video, man,
Sure.
it's such a beautiful. Did you now explain to me before we play this clip? Did you? Is this one of your compositions? How did this come about with this tune?
It's not my original tune. It's a tune by Steps Ahead.
Oh, it is.
Mike,
Is the
Mike,
step? Okay, Mike Maneri.
yeah,
Okay, I
yeah,
love.
and this sort of became my the theme song for my big band at the Blue Note.
Oh, okay. This is your theme song, really?
Yeah, so just being in this pandemic and being not being able to, play with the band or play, in front of an audience. I just had to do something, right? Being stuck at home for like 3 months, and it just
Yeah,
kind of, it killed me, and it just had to do something. So
sure.
this is what I did, and
Beautiful. And actually, I got to tell you too. I got to ask you. So this is with Bob James on piano. Um, I believe it was Peter Erskine.
yep,
Um, forgive me, yourself, but you also have a younger, lovely woman playing drums. So you have two drummers on it. And that lovely, is she in your big band at the Blue Note?
yeah, yes, she is. She's only
She's,
20.
she's beautiful, man. She plays
Yeah,
so advanced for 20. She plays like a 50-year-old, man, but she's got
she.
chops and it's great, man.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I have a great bunch of trumpet the female trumpet players in my band
Yeah.
too.
No, everybody's
Yeah,
it's very proficient, but it's amazing as to how you have two piano players. I seen a couple bass players on this video. Is that right? You doubled up on a lot of different instruments, a lot of same instruments.
yeah, exactly. I just wanted to get everybody into this party,
Great, man. I love it, man. I
Yeah.
love that.
Awesome.
Let's
Yeah,
play the party. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I'll roll it really quick. Just so you guys know, I did have to chop it up just so YouTube doesn't flag it. So you'll see a couple jumps in here. So you can see the whole thing out on YouTube, and I'll post the link in the chat.
Love it.
All right, there we go. Sorry, I had a microphone issue there. We're back now.
Awesome. That's
Very
great
cool.
stuff, Eric.
You know, I recorded this at home.
Okay.
So, and and in Japan, the noise problem. People complain at the slightest of you
Really?
know yeah, noise. So I had to record this um using the silent brass. You know that thing.
Yeah. The mute that goes in the end of the horn that has a pickup.
Yeah,
In it. Yep.
one of these thing that has a little, you,
Pickup.
you could, yeah, pick up in here. So that's what I used on that video.
Wow.
Really? The high
Yeah,
notes and
so
everything? No.
yeah, all the high note stuff.
Wow. God bless you.
I
Wow.
mean, but playing into a practice mute, man. So you kind of nearly killed me trying to play that.
Wow. And so, man, I didn't realize that everything was wow. That's not easy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Crazy.
But no, it's a beautiful. I love that band, man. I'd love to come over to Japan and hear that band because the compositionally, what I like is not only are you a great trumpet player, but I also I've seen videos throughout the years and stuff that it's different being a trumpet player than a band leader, as we talked about earlier with Maynard. So explain to me about how do you approach that role as far as being a band leader and conductor? Switching hats. How's that work out for you?
I had a good fortune of working with, a bunch of great band leaders. And they all had a different way of, getting the band members motivated and getting
Okay.
the best in them. And also working with the audience. They all had a different way of doing it.
Yes, sir.
And I try to, combine, I guess, all these things that I learned from the road
Yeah.
and into my own band thing. But like I said earlier, just being honest,
Yes,
just
sir.
being yourself, you know,
Here it
if
is.
you're
Here I
yeah,
am.
if
Here
you
I am.
yeah, if you're like being a plastic Maynard, and if you're like copying someone else's leadership skill, and I think that's not going to work because you're not being honest, and the music is so honest that people can see
See right through.
see right through you, man. So
Yeah, man.
that's what I guess trying to do is just be honest. Yeah, I guess
Well, you're doing
but
it.
also but also yeah, you have to keep in mind that it's a entertainment. What we're
Yeah.
doing is entertaining people.
Sure.
If you're just getting, the jazz can be very selfish music when you really think about it.
Egotistical. Yes.
Egotistical. You're on the stage and you're trying to impress your band members only, or trying to do the hardest scale, or trying to play the highest note. And if start to ignore, if you start to just be selfish on it, you're forgetting about the audience, and that's we're all in this together. When we're in
Yeah.
a concert hall, everybody's there to, if the audience are hot, it can give you that much more energy. If the audience are not enjoying themselves, and you're gonna kind of motivates you to do better.
Hmm.
So the being honest with the audience, and honest, the audience being honest with you, it's kind of a give and take kind of thing for all of us to be in that together. So live music, man, I mean, that's the best part of that. And it's a scary, and it's the hardest, hard part to to do it right. But yeah, I just this pandemic thing and being away from the audience really taught me, and now really make me appreciate
Yes,
what
sir.
all this, it's a privilege to be on stage. It's such
Yeah.
a oh my
Very.
god, it's such an honor.
Yeah.
So more so that I have a more respect towards all these great band leaders throughout the years.
Yeah.
And Buddy told me one night about um why he doesn't talk too much the on his show. He never spoke.
Really.
Maybe at the yeah, maybe at the very end he would introduce the band, but of course he said, they're not here to hear me talk.
Mhm.
They're here to listen to the music. But also, what he said was, you know, they have, the audience have enough shit going on with their lives, and that's why they want to come for the 2 hours
Yep.
away from their lives to immerse themselves into the music, you know. And you don't want to be up there talking about politics or, wow, man, it's hot today, or just don't
Nope.
just play
Play.
music.
Talk about the music quickly, if you're gonna talk at all. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. Billy Joel says it best. He goes, you know, no one wants to hear my opinion. I'm a piano player. Who wants to hear my political opinion? Or I'm here 2.5 hours. Let's play some music. It's an escape. So I'm with you on that. That's we all can heed that example. It's a great example.
Hey, Carl, can I geek out on you, man?
I'm here for you. What do you got?
Billy Joel, man, what's it like? Oh my God, I'm such a fan, man.
Are you?
Oh,
He's great, man. You talk about honesty. That's what it's like. He is what you see is what you get. He's a man's man. He's a very humble, giving, honest is a perfect word for him. So what you see is what you get. There's no, we've been in humongous arenas and we've started a tune, and the band something might go awry and the band might have a problem, and we'll stop, and Billy we get the kick out of it. He goes, we're not full of shit. It's real. Here we're a real band. And I think, like you said earlier, people realize that realness, the honesty. And I feel personally, I said this on my gig last week, I feel personally that, to me, Billy Joel is our George Gershwin of our time, as far as writing standards, and just they become so ingrained in our being. And he's had such a diversity of his writing. Has it's not just one genre. He's a storyteller, and it's pretty amazing that the guy is grounded and as humbled as he is. It's just, I have to actually say to myself, man, this is just, the guy is just like you and I would, he'd be talking. It's just it. So I am very humbled and lucky and blessed to have been there 15 years come in December. And this pandemic has taught me a lot too. It's, bringing people together, and I love hanging out. I'm talking to one of my favorite trumpet players in Japan. That's pretty cool. Stevens in Chicago. He's being a ringleader on this. I get to talk to people who I love and admire, and music brings people together. And so for me, the geekiness is, I've learned a lot, just like you have, from my band leaders, and wouldn't change it for the world, my man. Hopefully that answered that question.
Thanks, man. That's great. Beautiful.
Thank you, man.
Awesome.
So,
I know we're a little over 2 hours, Carl. There's one question that this guy's been super patient waiting almost the whole show for me. So I'm gonna leave you with that one.
Leave it with the question.
Yeah, but really quick, Greg Black says, thank you guys for all the years of great playing. Big fan of both of you.
Greg Black, the mouthpiece guy?
I'm not 100% sure, but it says Greg Black, so.
Got to be Greg Black, right? Greg?
Yep.
Oh my God. Hey, Greg. How are you, man? Long time.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Chris Manners did chime in and says that Washington Music usually does stock Eric's horn. So thank you for that, Chris.
Washington Music.
Yeah. And the question was from Nathaniel Williford. I know it's a little bit of a trumpet geek question, but could you guys talk a little bit about how you would go about opening up your sound in the upper range? My G, A, and B flat are very strong, but my C doesn't open up the same way. Would love to hear you back.
Eric, it's all you.
Okay. Just press harder.
Yeah. Use the octave key, which is the pinky ring. Pull back as far as you can. Oh man.
Man, it's a tough question to answer, not being able to see how this guy plays, and and
Yeah.
but if you are hearing, um well, if in your head you have a strong image of how you want to sound like, you'll eventually get there. You will. So
Mm.
don't worry about it. Just keep at it, I guess. um Use, like, what Carl said earlier, use a ballad.
Yeah.
Always use ballad, and start low. Pick a simple ballad, like My Family Valentine, or Over the Rainbow, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, anything. That
Yeah.
simple melody, playing one key in the middle register, and just keep maybe like a minor third up, transpose it up, and keep in mind to keep it like how you want it, the open and beautiful, and just keep taking the tune up higher and higher.
Yep.
But don't move up early. I mean, until you're satisfied and happy with how you have a control of that sound, I think. Yeah, this is what Maynard taught me. That this is the only thing that he told me all the years that I've known him.
Mm-hmm.
And like I kept pushing him
Yeah.
into answering all these technical questions.
Yes, sir.
But he finally said that just take a ballad, and just keep taking, keep
Up at
moving,
minor third.
apple minor third, and that's the only thing that he told me. But it does work.
And Eric,
Be
and
patient.
be patient. And Eric, you go up a minor third, but make it sound romantic. If it's not more romantic, don't play it. I remember him saying that, not to you, but that was one of his things. When you did press him, he would actually say, "Play a ballad," but very romantic. And you'd say to yourself, "How does the trumpet romantic?" But he would say, "Play it," and that's how you equated it, which I love. Is once it starts sounding like it's forced, leave it alone and get it to where it sounds good in that one key. It's amazing that he was steadfast, and he would always tell players that would be something to work on. I love that story, man.
I mean, that's a perfect word. I think romantic,
Romantic.
romanticism. It's a perfect analogy. So back to the question. But this is the technical part. You have to have the right equipment to be able to play an upper register. If you take a trombone mouthpiece, put it on a trumpet, and have Maynard Ferguson play it, he can't play any high notes on it. So you just have to have the right combination of the horn, the mouthpiece, and the player. Those three things has to be in balance. So if you're lacking the bigness, or being able to fill your tone up in that register, you may want to tweak, whatever,
Hmm.
whatever equation. So that's my only technical advice that I can give you. Don't think about the tongue arch or the aperture. Those are things that would happen naturally. Don't try to
Yeah.
force it or control it. To compensate, overcompensating by raising your tongue. It's only gonna shut your tones really small.
Yeah.
Ta, from ta to e. You get that really nasal sound. You might be able to play higher, but you're gonna sacrifice that sound. So always think about the tone, I guess.
Mm, that's
What do you
great.
think, Carl? Yeah.
I think you're right on the money, man. I think everything you said is a home run. The only thing I would add, technically, you said it best, Eric. We can't hear you play, so we're kind of blind and giving you advice. I always go back to very simple, simplistic things because I'm a simpleton too. Like Eric said, don't think about your tongue, but look at your fundamentals of your playing. If you're playing a middle C or a high B flat, just in your first ledger line, and that's a good sound, and you're lacking a full step up to the high C, and that sound is not the tone you have on the B flat, so to speak. Look fundamentally at your setups of am I choking the air off? Am I not breathing correctly? You know, don't think about the mechanics of what Eric was saying. Like, don't think about E and like that, but just really be steadfast on your fundamentals of producing your sound and be patient. And the first thing that I see with beginners or even older trumpet players that get frustrated is what Maynard called the 5-minute heroes. What Eric joked around with, press harder. You start pressing into the mouthpiece or pulling in, and you stop the vibration, and almost nothing comes out, and your sound gets thin. So relax, relax, and let the air do the work. You know, that's the only thing I would add, which is the same thing Eric said, really.
So
You know?
so should you hold the horn like this?
I can't. And press harder. That's great, Stephen.
Oh man. Well, anyway,
all right. So I get the
Yep.
that was the question that you want to hit, right, Stephen?
Yeah, definitely. I just wanted to say thanks for everybody sending their questions in for the chat, and for hanging out here, and for you guys both spending almost 2.5 hours now. So I'm gonna
Thank
be
you, Eric.
quiet. The chat is gonna say goodnight, and I'll let you guys have the last words.
Cool. I'm just gonna say something, Eric, and then Steven, you can get on and say goodbye to everybody. But bro, it means so much to me that you got up early and spent time with us. It's great catching up with you. Hopefully, it's not another 14 years that we don't see each other. I'd love to be able to play with you, man, and I'm very humbled that you came and hung. I learned a tremendous amount of great things from you, as always. So thank you for that. I'm just gonna leave you with one question, and then Steven's got what in the future excites you. It could be about music, it could be about your kids, could be about any. What are you looking for, and what are you looking forward to in the future, my friend?
Travel, I guess.
Oh wow,
Travel more. Yeah. I have well, if this pandemic kind of settles down, I have a tour planned next spring of Singapore, Hong Kong, and Europe is coming up end of next year.
oh
So
beautiful.
yeah, I should be back in Europe, I think. So I just want to keep meeting people, um, and like doing things like this, geeking out on the things that we love,
Yeah, man.
and keep learning. There's no end to this
No,
until until the last breath we take, right?
yes,
So
sir. Yes, sir.
hey, Carl, man, let me just say, man, it's honored to be able to call you a friend,
Likewise.
because man, I have so much respect for you as a player and as a human being. You're
Thank
such one of the sweetest guy I know, and I
Thank
love you dearly, man.
Likewise.
And thank you for the invitation, and
My honor.
take care, my friend.
Love you, Eric. Thank you, brother. Godspeed. We'll see you soon.
Okay.
Good night, everybody.
We almost made it to the very end without an audio issue, so sorry for that, guys. But thank you guys for everybody hanging out in the stream. Thanks to Carl and Eric once again, everybody in the chat, and we do have a link for T-shirts there available that does support the stream. All the links up there in the top left-hand corner. Really appreciate you guys for that, and all the comments and stuff. And we're gonna be back here next Tuesday for the night hang at 9 p.m. Eastern. Always hear about the events on Facebook in advance. And thank you guys for hanging out with us. And we will talk to you guys next time. Take care.
Mr. Carl Fischer.